Buongiorno everyone, welcome back to the Magpie Channel TV. Welcome back to your second video of today already, because we've had some breaking news this afternoon thanks to Sky Sports. Newcastle United have had an official bid turned down for another player. Another bid put in and another bid rejected. This time, out of the blue, I'm fine because it's blue shirt, out of nowhere, we've had a bid rejected for Watford's Joao Pedro. Now, Joao Pedro, the Brazilian forward, is the man Newcastle have seemingly targeted to be our new forward to back up Wilson to provide competition for him. Don't know what's happened to Ramos from Benfica, but we've went in for Watford's Pedro now. But it might be a new name, but it's the same old story. Bid rejected. We've put a £17 million bid in for Pedro, and Watford have swiftly declined it as they insist he is not for sale. Now, Watford have just lost Emmanuel Dennis to Nottingham Forest over the weekend. There's heavy links with Ismail Assar to leave Watford as well. He has been linked with Newcastle this window. Recently, just been linked with Manchester United. So they could lose Saw, Dennis and Pedro. They don't want to do that. They don't want to lose Pedro. Pedro has already scored for them this season in the Championship, and now he's linked with Newcastle United. So Newcastle are targeting another Brazilian, the Brazilian forward, Joao Pedro. The 20-year-old who actually scored at St James's Park last season. I was there when I saw that. 88th minute equaliser from him. That was lifting. That was an awful day. So maybe they've seen something in that game where they've kept him on the back burner, they've added him to a short list, and now they're pursuing him because other targets have fell through. For me, I'm not going to lie, I'm underwhelmed at this one. You know, I'm always going to bring you honesty on the Magpie Channel TV. That's what we've built off. I'll say it how it is. I'll say how I feel. I'm not going to lie and say, ooh, I think this is a good signing. Ooh, I like Pedro. I honestly don't. I think it's a bang average player. I think it's a bang average signing. I mean, he's 20 years old, so he's definitely going to improve, especially under Eddie Howe. I'm sure he could strike a tone out of him. But for what I've seen so far, I've seen him in the Championship at Watford, and he was getting slated by them the other week because he just totally went missing in their game, barely did anything. For me, it just doesn't get as excited, this one. I'll be blunt, it just doesn't. I mean, obviously if he came, he's saying I'd back him, I'd praise him, I'd hope he would succeed, obviously. But as he's linked, nah, it just doesn't really make much sense for me. This Brazilian forward sounds good, exciting. His goal record isn't. You look at his stats really aren't that good. Stats are on the screen now, only a couple of goals in the Premier League last season. Yes, for a poor Watford side, but come on, why not get Dennis? We're putting 17 million in for Pedro and it's been rejected, so you're going to have to pay at least 20 million for him. Nottingham Forest have just signed Dennis for 22 million. A lot of fans across social media were saying, why weren't Newcastle involved in this? Someone replied to Keith Downey's tweet when he said Dennis is going to Forest, and a player that's been linked with Newcastle this summer. People were saying, why aren't we going in for Dennis? Because that seemed like a bargain to me. 20 million, 22 million for a player that actually did look good. Dennis looked really good. I would have definitely had Dennis at Newcastle. He was lightning quick. He's got more of an eye for goal. He's more of an all-round package as a striker. For me, I would have definitely snapped your hand off for Emmanuel Dennis. I think it's a very good signing for Forest. He did brilliant last year at Watford. I would much rather have had him than Pedro. Maybe there's something at Pedro where, you know, when he was back in Brazil at Fluminense, he was linked with everyone. Liverpool, Spurs, all of that. You know, Everton, Richarlison, there was links at the time with the comparisons. But for me, I mean, he's been in the English leagues a couple of years now. Nothing of real note. Nothing of real note at all. He looks pretty good on the ball. I mean, he likes to come back deep and make things happen, build up play and take people on. The best thing about it is he can play across the free, so he could play in the middle. Instead of Wilson, he could play out wide instead of Almiron or Maximin. But nah, I'll be honest, like I seen that link and I was like, Joao Pedro. What happened to Gonzalo Ramos? Why aren't we getting Ramos in? Why aren't we looking abroad to like Guri in France? Or obviously we'd try to get Ekitike. I would have been much more excited about that. There's loads of other players you could target instead of him. Just like Dennis the other day, I would have much rather had Dennis. I would much rather have Saul. We're getting the worst one out of the three. If we even do get him, we might not even get him because the bid's been rejected. Will we go back in again? Oh, not much success in this transfer window since Botman, like, is there? Well, nothing's happened since Botman. No success going forward. This one's came completely out of the blue. This name wasn't linked at all by anybody all summer, and then the bids went in. The bid's been rejected. See what happens. See if they go back in for him, or then we'll go in for someone else completely out of nowhere. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't really get too excited by this one. Joao Pedro, stats aren't great. Seems to go missing in games. Like I say, if he comes back and does well, Eddie Howe, sure you get to improve him. But you look at his goal scoring record and what he brings, it's meh. It's a bit meh. It's a bit of a. If it was like this time last year and a last year, we'd that's an average signing. And maybe that's where the expectations have changed. Obviously, they are going to change when you get all these riches and a Manastiri comes out and says she wants to win the league in 5 years. That's obviously going to change expectations. Now, not being silly, not being getting carried away, not you know, taking the piss out of the owners or anything, or trying to be negative. I'm just being real. Like, I've been very happy with the transfer business so far, but Pedro, 70 million rejected. Like, nah, not great. That like, not great at all. I think there's much bigger, better names we can get out there. I'll just try and get someone Broyer on loan or something. But obviously, I mentioned earlier, well, that's probably not going to happen in the other video. But there's just so many names out there that you get instead of him, or bit underwhelming, isn't it? Really, I think. But we'll see. We'll see if he does come. Like I say, back him. Hope he does well. But on what I've seen so far, seen him at St James's, he did look a threat. Did look dangerous. Did score. That was one of 3 goals he scored in the league last year. I don't know. Let us know what you think of Pedro linked to Newcastle. Are you the same as me, or am I being a miserable bastard? Let us know. I don't care. Say what you want. I'm saying what I want. That's the whole point of it. Drop your comments below. Subscribe to my Magpie Channel TV, and see you on the next one.